What is up, everyone? What I wanted to do right now is just make a video on how to make paragraphs. And some people are scared of paragraphs and some people love them, but what I want to do is make paragraphs easier. And instead of thinking of them as paragraphs, let's think of them as ideas. Now, I've seen a lot of writing where there's sentences all over the place and you have all these great thoughts, but we need to find a way to take those thoughts and put them into one area, and the paragraphs are the way to do it. The example I'm going to use is going to Disneyland. So what I love about using an iPad is we can talk to our iPad and it'll type for us. So if I use the microphone, just like that. Now, let's think of some ideas that we can add on to this. Instead of just talking about all the different things that I did, let's create little areas of ideas. So I want to talk about, let's do that. Let's do another idea. Not rights. Sometimes it doesn't get it, and we can just type it in. And then another one, of course, we can't forget the Disney. So when you're deciding to make paragraphs, my suggestion is aim for 2 or 3 ideas. Here I've got 3 ideas, and of course if you're in high school you can go anywhere from 3 to 5 ideas. And what we can do is make these ideas a little bit more. So step 1 is find your ideas. Step 2, create 1 to 2 word ideas that go with them. What I want to do here is make sure we have an introductory sentence. Okay, and then I want about, let's try, if we're younger, maybe primary, elementary school, we can have 2 ideas with it. So let's create 2 ideas, there. See, these are the 2 ideas, this one and that one, but I also want to have an outro sentence, we can call it. For the primaries, you can even call it your feeling sentence. How do you feel about it? That's for primary, so they can really sum everything up. Okay, so about the food, what can we talk about in Disneyland for the food? Well, the food is... So if the first step is to find your ideas, the second step is to create thoughts in those ideas. And one thing that I remember about Disneyland, my favorite was if you've never had a churro, oh, you have to go find one. If you ever go to Disneyland, you have to get a churro. Okay, so in my paragraph or my idea for food, I'm going to have an intro sentence. I'm going to have a sentence about the food being creative. I'm going to have a sentence about the churro. And I'm going to have a concluding sentence that talks about everything that I talked about. Or if I'm in primary, I can talk about my feeling about that paragraph. Okay, now here are rides. That's step 1. Step 2, let's get my intro as well as my concluding sentences there. Now, if I was in primary, I have my 2 thoughts. What I want to do is maybe make 3 thoughts here. So if I'm in intermediate, I can try and do 3 and aim for that. 1, 2, and 3. The rides at Disneyland. What should I be talking about the rides? Ooh, I love that they were themed rides. That means that they all had a theme to it. What else can I talk about? I can talk about different emotions that I experienced. You notice that in the thoughts or stage 2 or step 2, I'm just putting 1-word answers of what I want to talk about. Step 3 is when I start adding the sentences. Okay, when you think about rides at Disneyland, some of you think of the lines are really long at Disneyland, but they can also be fun. And I'm going to be talking about that later. Okay, now let's talk about the characters. And these characters, I'm just going to have more than 3 thoughts. Let's have about 4. So if I'm in high school, I'm aiming anywhere between 3 to 5 thoughts. So I'm just going to put 4 just for the sake of time. So of course, we have our intro, and in intermediate and high school, this intro is also known as the topic sentence, which will introduce what the paragraph is about. We're also going to have our concluding sentence. And let's have 4 thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. What are the ideas that we're going to put in here? Let's talk about the characters. We're going to be obviously, there's going to have, I'd love to talk about that. Let's see. And okay. So now we finished stage 1, which is getting the ideas, and then our different ways of thinking about those ideas to support them. Now we're going to go to step 3, which is actually writing the sentences. Okay, so this is our trip to Disneyland. Stage 1 is to get 1-word sort of ideas, and then this is going to flesh out our paragraphs. Okay, so you can see here that, let's go to food. We're going to have an intro sentence, a sentence about creative, a sentence about churros, and a sentence about my feelings or my concluding sentence. And that will be my paragraph about food. So let's see. Let's start writing our sentences. And so my intro sentence takes a look at my idea, and then it looks at some of my points. So my reader knows that the paragraph that they're going to read is going to be about Disneyland and some of the most creative food, in the world. So next, let's talk about the sentence about being creative. I can add a sentence or a period right there for that sentence. There we go. And now, a churro. Love it. Now, let's conclude with a sentence that summarizes my 2 points, or I can talk about my feeling, or we can actually do all 3 of them. So let's try that. There we go. And then we can fix our punctuation later when we export these. Okay. Let's move on to rides, shall we? So rides. Here's my introductory sentence. Different. They're also different. They are I don't like that capital. Oh no, it just uncapitalized it. Also different. Perfect. That's a very long sentence. Maybe I can put a period there. And you notice that I can say comma or period, and it adds the punctuation for me. So just because we're doing this quickly, I'll fix that maybe next time. But at least you get to see that I'm talking about rides, and I'm highlighting the 3 points that I want. So in this sentence, I talked about the themed rides, that they're connected to the movies. I talked about the emotions that I probably feel. I didn't talk about the lines, but we'll get that soon. I just didn't want to make the sentence too long. Okay, themed rides. Period. Okay, next. Emotional. Now we can talk about the lines and how long they are, but they're also exciting, right? So what can we say about the lines? Let's keep this one short. And now we're going to take a look at our themed rides, our emotional aspects of the rides, and then sort of the lines, and we'll wrap it all together in the concluding sentence. So what's something that we can conclude with by tying all these three together? We can also still do the feeling. Okay. Yeah, that works. Okay. So we've talked about food, and we used our 2 points here. We talked about rides, and we have our 2 points with 3 points here. And now our sentences. And now we've got our characters. Okay, so in intermediate and high school, having maybe multiple points, 3 to 5 points or thoughts in each idea would be a great place to start. So let's talk about the intro. So the topic sentence, or the sentence that's going to describe this whole idea or paragraph, I'm going to be talking about the Disney characters, the parades, lineups for characters, and hopefully the costumes. I don't want to make it too long or make it sort of like a list, but I want to introduce the paragraph. So I'm going to take a look at the characters. That's the main part, and I will also try and include some of those things. So what can I... Hopefully that didn't record. All right, what can I come up with? Yeah, that works. Okay. The actual characters. I'm just going as quickly as I can. Lineups for rides. Let's add an O to that. Oh, I keep forgetting to add the period. Costumes. Okay, and let's see, what can we say? Didn't mean to do that. Let's do that. Okay. Now let's conclude all of this by taking a look at all my different points in here. And we're going to conclude it. Try and make it nice and succinct, which means short and sweet. I don't like that last sentence, but I'm just going to leave it there. Sorry, I'm just thinking on my feet. Okay, the punctuation here we'll edit later, as you'll see when we import this so we can do our last proof edit. Right now, the whole point of this program is to get all of our thoughts and ideas onto the iPad, and then we'll do the editing later. Let's not focus on spelling or editing. I know that I was doing it for this video, but I just realized for our next little bit, that's our next part of the writing process. Okay, now I want to talk about making your sentences a little bit more extended. So extending your sentences from making it simple and basic to a little bit more advanced. And a way that you can do that is, let's see, new node, is using connector words. And there's an acronym called Fanboys, just like that. Oops, enter, and we're good. There we go. And this stands for, what I want to do here is write them down. What was 4? There we go. I'm going to put this on this side. There we go, because I'm going to keep adding. 4 for F, A is going to be and. N, what was N again? It's nor, I think. This is, there you go. Or, Y is yet. And last one is so. In order to make your sentences longer, you can end a sentence, sort of, and then you can use for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, to add another sentence you were thinking of. Another way that you can do this is, especially for the intermediates or the high schoolers, you can use other connector words like, did I get it? Oops. Perfect. Oh, I got it since there. Okay. I'm not sure if I can delete that. Let's see, delete that. Perfect. So these are connector words that you can use, and everything on this side, primaries and intermediates can use, but on this side, intermediates and high schoolers can use to for connecting their sentences. For example, let's take Disney. Here we go. How about Disney characters? This one was pretty short. If we wanted to make this one longer and talk about the Disney characters that you can see all your favorite characters, I'm not sure if you can actually see all your characters when you go to visit Disneyland because the park is so big, but you might see your favorite ones. So let's talk about that instead. So let me use the word nevertheless. Okay? And we're going to make this very simple sentence a little bit more extended. Just like that. All right, so let's recap. Step 1, you're trying to get your ideas. Step 2, you're putting all of your points for those ideas. Step 3, you're going to now write sentences, okay? So that's all that. If you would like to add examples for everyone, you can then go ahead and write different examples for everyone. I don't have time to do that, but if you write an example, you can write your sentence right there. You just keep adding on to it. But for now, I think this is a great start. I want to go split my screen. So I'm going to move it over here. And you're going to select your sentence. Now, this is the tricky part. You're going to have to select everything in here. So you can probably select all, copy, paste, just like that, put my period, select all, copy, and then go over here. Oh, I'm in pages, by the way, on the right side. And I'm gonna paste it, paste. I'm gonna double click. I'm gonna click on my cursor there, select all. It's gonna come up as copy. And on this side, I'm gonna click on my cursor again, and I'm gonna paste. And then my last concluding sentence is there. Oops. Touch my cursor, select all, copy. I know it's a little bit arduous, or it takes too much time, but take a look at that. I have a bona fide paragraph on that side, just like that, if you see it. One way that you can reduce the amount of space is I'm going to put floating. So did you see what I did there? I'm gonna hold this to the bottom. I'm gonna hold onto the keyboard just like that, and this menu will come up. I'm gonna choose floating, and it goes to the side so that it's not always there. So it's so much easier. Okay, so let's go over here. I'm going to leave a space for my next paragraph. I'll make this a little bit smaller this time. Select all, copy, paste, and it's all gonna be here. I'm not gonna do the last paragraph. I'll just probably do the second paragraph so that you can get a glimpse of 2 of my full paragraphs. Doing this is so much easier for me to create paragraphs versus just writing it out from scratch. And it's a lot more organized. Select all, copy, and I'm gonna touch my cursor to bring up that thing again. So make a space there. Select all. So to get that menu, you're just selecting that cursor that's blinking right there, right? That line. Click on it again and paste. Okay, so I've got 2 of my paragraphs here. Now, if I wanted to start editing, let's open this up and flip my screen. Look at that, 2 full paragraphs. And then I can go around and take a look at what I need to get done. If I wanted to actually mark it up, I can click on the 3 dots up here and go to Smart Annotation. With Smart Annotation, I can select different pens, different colors. So I'll select the green pen over here. And if I wanted to highlight churro and say that should be a proper noun, whoops. I should take that out. Okay, undo, undo. I think it's the highlighter that I should do. Okay, if I want churro, just like that, I can circle it or underline it if I wanted to, or just say that should be a big C right there, right? And then you can add your punctuation and all the different things. Maybe I don't want that exclamation mark. Maybe it should just be a period. All right, so that hopefully was able to show you different ways that you can make paragraphs using a mind map or a brain map tool. I use this one on my iPad called MindNode. It's a paid app, but you can find a lot of free ones on the internet. And all you really need, is just something that can create different branches. And that's it. To summarize, step 1, well, you need to know your essay topic or your theme. Mine was the Disneyland trip. Step 1 is to find your ideas. What are the big ideas that you want to talk about generally? So that's it. Step 2, you're going to put different points or thoughts into these ideas. And each part is going to close like a sandwich. You're going to have an intro and a concluding sentence. For primaries, you can make them also your feeling sentence, your last sentence there. Okay? For primaries or intermediates, the intro sentence is also known as a topic sentence. How do you get your intro or topic sentence? Well, you take a look at what your idea is, and you take a look at your points, and your topic sentence or intro should be a general summary of your idea and a few bits about your points. Okay? Step 3 is then you take a look at your points, then you make a sentence about that. look at your point, sentence, look at your point, sentence. Same thing. If you wanted to extend, you can use the acronym Fanboys. I usually even write it out here so I can see it, and then I can pick and choose which words I want to use. That's if you want to extend your sentences. When you're all done, what I do is go to my pages. So I'm going to hold on to the app just like that, and then I start dragging it and put it on the side. That side or that side, just like that. And then when I get to these areas, I just copy and paste. I click, double click to get in there, and when I see that blinking line, the cursor, I click on it, and that menu comes up, select all, copy, and then I go to my pages side. Oops, I was still annotating. I click on that, oh, I don't want it there. I click on that cursor, that line again, and then I paste it in there. If I want to get this keyboard out of there, what I can do is hold onto the bottom right, click floating, and then it just floats, and I can float it around somewhere where it doesn't take up the whole screen. I hope that helped you. I know that it's helped others that I've helped as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, or you can just watch this video again. All right, bye for now.